stay, you won't be sorry, 'cause we believe in you. Soon you'll grow, so take a chance with a couple of...
So, David Bowie, last week I played you as my guilty pleasure, The Laughing Gnome. I decided I wouldn't play that again this week. And that was Kooks from Hunky Dory, which I happen to love. I think it's a great song and a great bit of David Bowie. So I'm joined by Alasdair Woodbridge from Genius Hub. Alasdair, good morning.
Good morning.
You a Bowie fan?
Yes, yeah.
I was speculating last week there can't be anybody who isn't. But
No, absolutely. I got the pleasure of going to see the Rolling Stones actually this summer as well. So,
really?
Yes, got to see them twice. My girlfriend's pretty into the Rolling Stones, so yes, that was a good treat.
For a bunch of old men. They don't do bad, do they? They still rock.
There was a lot of energy on the stage, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, no, it was a great day out in London, and then we saw them again up in Coventry. So
right.
Yeah, great.
So it's a really into.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so Genius Hub makes smart controls for heating, for other things as well, I guess. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, so what we do is essentially we move the thermostat that you might already have in your house that's probably sat next to your boiler or maybe in the hallway, and we basically move that to your mobile phone. So it means that you can control your heating from anywhere. So if you are coming home late, you can tell the heating not to come on, and then if you're coming home early because you're not feeling very well at work, then if you've got heating turned off, obviously you're going to come back to a cold house. What we do is move that to your phone so that actually you could bring the heating on early. So what that means, is that and where we go the next level up is rather than just controlling just the boiler, we also control individual rooms, which is where we come into the more commercial side of buildings. So we're like a thermostat or a programmer, but for every single room of a building.
So you can put a gizmo on the radiators in different rooms and control them individually.
Exactly. So rather than having the thermostatic radiator valves that most people already have, essentially we swap that to a smart valve.
And is that directly replaceable? It's not a huge amount of work to
exactly. Yeah, no, it's a very, very straightforward install. In fact, about 50% of our installs are actually DIY. So the customers actually buy the kit and then they'll install it themselves. Very, very easy to take the old valve off and then screw our valve on. So we call it a dry install because you wouldn't need a plumber to do it. You could just swap them over.
Getting a plumber. There's another story. So you can use a heating engineer to do it and be happy to come in and do it for you.
Yeah, so we have so T Limited down here in Cornwall are our registered installers down here. So whether it's commercial, whether it's domestic, they'll be one of the installers that we'd call out. So if you want us to do it, no problem at all. We obviously charge to install it, but they'll come out and they'll do a full installation for you.
And you also do this for businesses as well. We're talking about bigger spaces that they're heating up there. So I guess the upside of this is they make bigger savings too. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's the point, is the savings. So what we noticed very quickly was a lot of larger buildings were actually buying our system. So we started off 7 years ago with a domestic system, and that was just for people's homes. And we found immediately that people were buying it for bed and breakfasts, for small care homes, for stately homes, for starting to install it. And it's because we give you that thermostat in every single room. So a lot of people may have heard of Nest, which is quite a common thermostat, which is a smart one. And we're basically, one of the journalists once said, we're a Nest in every single room, because essentially we give you that ability in every room. So the bigger buildings are the ones that spend and waste the most amount of energy. That's the guys that we can also help now.
And I guess what you're changing in any business and in any home is the just-in-case heating scenario where I need to have the room warm. But I don't exactly know when we're going to be in there and occupying it.
I think that just in case is fantastic. That's exactly what happens. So if you are a hotel owner, then you're probably going to heat every single room of your hotel just in case you get somebody coming in. You might not even have the opportunity to be able to turn rooms off. You certainly are unlikely to run around or ask the staff to run around turning radiators off in rooms that you know you're not going to use tonight.
I think they struggle to even get them to turn lights off.
Right, exactly, yeah, exactly. So we just take all the pain out of that. Okay. So we automatically the rooms will turn down, and we're not talking about turning them off. The industry from the Carbon Trust, they say that for every 1 degree that you drop the temperature, you save 7% on the heating bill. So we're not talking about actually turning the heating off. We're just talking about dropping it by 4 degrees in the rooms when they're not being used. And then very quickly, our system will automatically sense a room's being used and will bring the temperature straight back up again. So.
Okay, so it's actually got motion sensing as well. But if somebody comes in just for a moment, presumably it doesn't react to that.
No, very good. So we often get asked that. So yes, absolutely. So there's a delay that you can set on the room, which is customizable. We set it for 2 minutes by default. So yeah, if you walk into a room and then leave again, then it wouldn't bring the heating on. So all the benefits of this, it actually work in the domestic world. So you have all this as part of our offering for homeowners, but obviously the kind of the big thing and the big energy users are the hotels, the care homes, other kind of large buildings, community halls. They're all buildings that we've done and been very successful, saving considerable amounts of energy.
So, I mean, in order to make these savings, there must be some cost as well. What typically would, say, a house cost to set up to be customisable and smart?
Absolutely. So we would say just start with what we call our starter kit. So on our website, www.geniushub.co.uk, you can actually design your own system. Don't be put off by thinking that it's a very expensive system. Yes, it's probably journalists and people who've tested it and reviewed it would say it's probably one of the most advanced on the market, but you can start with just a starter kit. The starter kit allows you to just control your boiler. It's the same as a Nest or a Hive, but it's got that extra step. So later on, if you want to, you can then benefit from adding radiator valves at a later stage. So yeah, very easy to start. The starter kit is £250.
Okay, so that sounds like a doable sort of amount for most households if they want to make the savings. What sort of savings come from that? 7% of the heating bill, maybe?
Yeah, so actually the feedback that we get from customers, we've also got industry reports and analysis that's been done on the system. In the domestic world, it's around about 25% is what you can expect to save. And that's when you go for the radiator valves.
So a typical average household bill is something between 1,000 and 1,500 a year?
Yeah, the average is actually, I think it's just over 700, but that would obviously be for much smaller properties. Yeah. But I'm only talking about gas, so we wouldn't be saving anything on the electricity bill. So for the gas bill, I think the average is around about £700 to £800, right. Okay. and we'll be saving you 25% of that. So with everyone, you make the decision based on a business case in some sense. So everyone likes a bit of tech, let's say, which is good, but really is this going to pay for itself? And we generally reckon on 2 to 4 years for the payback on this system.
And this is energy saving. Are there grants available to start working on this, either commercially or domestically?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the commercial world, that's where the best grants are. So we're lucky enough to have just been awarded Carbon Trust Accreditation. Now that's come from the fact that we've had some really great case studies for the last couple of years, and we've actually demonstrated savings in offices of upwards of 30%. So we actually saved 33% in offices that already had thermostatic radiator valves and they already had a boiler that was being controlled by a building management system. But we took that cellular offices and we actually split it down, so each office actually only came on when you had a member of staff in the offices. So if people go out for the afternoon, then it turns the heating off. And likewise with hotels, we see similar savings in hotels, because obviously if you've not got that room booked, then the system will automatically drop the temperature.
And as I find, and I'm sure you do as well, travelling around, you tend to arrive at a hotel somewhere about 10 or 11 o'clock at night anyway, yeah, and leave at 6 or 7. Yeah, so yeah, there's only a very short period of time when the room needs to be up to heat.
Absolutely, and a lot of the hotel owners I speak with, they'll often say, well, yeah, that's great because we've got the business client who's going to come in late and leave early, but we've also got the kind of the families who will turn up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now the huge problem that they've got is that they have no way of disseminating which room does what, so they just have to turn the heating on at minimum 4 o'clock in the afternoon, heat it all the way through till midnight, and then in the morning turn it on again at 5 o'clock all the way through till say 10 or 11 when people check out. Our system, any rooms that are unoccupied, it will simply just drop the temperature in them. If you have a late show up, no problem at all, because you're no longer heating the whole hotel. Those rooms respond really, really quickly, so you get that. Yeah, it's a very it creates a very responsive system for an existing heating system, where we're not asking you to rip out radiators or put cables everywhere, because one of the benefits of the system is it's completely wireless. So essentially we're looking at an install that might only take say about 30 minutes per room.
So it's ideal to retrofit rather than having to go in and gut the place and fit it new.
100%. I mean, pulling a hotel apart would require closing the rooms and shutting down parts of the hotel. We're installing a care home. I'm involved with directly up just south of London, and yeah, I mean, the care home is open as usual. I mean, we just go into the rooms for 20 minutes to add the bits that we need to. So it's very straightforward.
The hoteliers I know around here wouldn't want to close a hotel,
No.
or even have any room unavailable
Yeah.
for any length of time, because
Absolutely.
rooms are money.
Yeah.
Occupancy is king, so
Yeah.
it's very important.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a British design system. Are the components British made, or are they from all over the world?
No, proudly British.
Okay.
So from our perspective, I'm British, and so is one of the other founders of Genius Hub. We both went to university together up in the Midlands, which is where we met. And for me, it's hugely important, the environmental credentials of everything that we do. From our whole mantra of the business is to save energy. So we're doing everything that we can also to, and the fact that our call centre is our head office in Birmingham. So we don't outsource anything. The valves are actually manufactured in Bedford for us under licence from a very, very large, well-known heating manufacturer, and the other parts of the system are also made in Bristol. So no, we have a big bent on let's get everything made in the UK.
Okay, so you're a co-founder of this business. What got you into it? Is your degree relevant to that?
My degree from Warwick University was in mechanical engineering. So
it is very relevant.
Yes, it was. I was actually an energy consultant before I started Genius Hub with Simon. I think the bit that I'd say there is that as an energy consultant with that hat on, if ever I'm going to survey a new property, the first bit of advice I'd give to anyone is fabric first. Do the fabric and look at the energy savings that you can achieve from that. We're in discussions at the moment with the Penryn Hotel in Redruth, and they've done huge amounts to that hotel with regards to other energy saving measures.
So this is insulation and making sure that what heat is in there stays in rather than going out.
Absolutely. So start with the fabric, but then when you get to the end of that road, so if you've kind of got older buildings which are kind of difficult to retrofit and upgrade insulation because it's so the draft proofing, insulation, double glazing, those are the first things I'd always choose to suggest. But then once you've got to the end of that road, because maybe a building's listed or it's prohibitively expensive to put in some of those measures, then that's where controls come in. And actually our argument is just, well, let's not turn the heating off because then you might have problems with damp, but let's just reduce the temperature slightly in some of the rooms that you're not using, and you just see phenomenal savings as a result.
So it keeps the room aired and dry, but it doesn't overheat it and waste the energy that goes into that. That's good. And you say gas only at the moment. And any plans to move into controlling the electrics in the house?
Yeah, so sorry, that was a bit misleading. I said that earlier. So no, we absolutely control electricity as well. So we've just recently completed a project in Bristol for a church which is purely electric. So they're using infrared panels. The problem with heating a very tall church is obviously all the heat rises straight up into the rafters.
It's a huge space.
Absolutely, it's a huge space, and they were joking that the only person who benefits out of this is God, because he's up in the rafters. So they've recently installed our system to control electric heating, so they've got purely infrared panels in that one. But we do electric heating, so if you've got a mix of electric and wet radiators, we can control all of that.
And the dream of the smart home, being able to switch on and off lights, switch on and off the TV, or have radio throughout the house using something like Alexa, those things as well?
Absolutely. So we integrate with Alexa already, and I think the strength of these systems is actually choosing the best of each one and making sure they all talk. I don't think you'll find a lighting system that is incredible at heating. I don't think you'll find a heating system that's incredible at lighting. So what we've decided to do is be the very best at heating, which I think all of our reviews, if you read them online, you'll see we are one of the best heating systems out there on the market, and actually what's more important is that we talk to for example the locks, so that if you lock your house it turns the heating off. That's very straightforward. That is already part of our system through third party services. So.
And when you say off, you mean down to a holding level?
let the customer decide. So
Okay,
yeah, they
so
would
you
they
can
would choose.
switch it off.
Yeah, absolutely. So some people would choose to override the rooms to off. Some people might choose to override them down to say a 10 degrees. So for some people, you've got to remember you're measuring the temperature now, possibly in every single room. So the level of control that you have is incredible, and therefore, yeah, you might choose some rooms you want to turn right off, and some rooms you just want to reduce the temperature in them.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in. I think I should let you let people know the website address at the very least, so they can get in touch with you if this is of interest. So do that, please.
Yes, our website is www.geniushub.co.uk. Have a look on there, grab our phone number. We've always got guys on the end of the phone who'd be happy to talk to you, and our telephone number is 0121 667 8000, and one of the guys will be happy to talk to you about your home, hotel, care home, whatever property you're in charge of.
All the way up there in Birmingham.
Yes.
Very nice too.
It's a lovely part of the country. Not as nice as down here, though, I'll give you that.
I think we'll take that as well. Alasdair, thank you very much for coming in.
You're most welcome.
And we've got to 27